The emotional support kitties here, wearing bras, shit like that. Like, I'm just, get it off me. It feels like so futile. I was instantly better, and I was like, this is what I've been missing out on my whole life.
Hello, everybody. My name's T.
And I'm Kay. And we are T&Kay, the Spectrum Way.
So we had a whole topic planned out for today, and then all of a sudden, there was a what, honey? A little meltdown? Yeah, so she had a little meltdown. So you want to talk about that?
Mm-hmm.
So these are some of the struggles that we have just that we face in our everyday life.
It's hard to talk about because it feels like so futile. So I'm gonna try my best to explain. But today, it just feels like everything has been wrong in my head. Like, it's just like one thing after another It has just been like wrong, like from the way that we were supposed to do things. And I'm not coping well with it. And we had like a whole podcast planned today.
For you guys, we were going to talk about traveling in today's podcast.
But I felt like, one, it wasn't going to be very authentic if we talked about traveling when I was feeling like this inside. And I thought that it was like a prime example of like the kind of fuck, I can't talk.
It's okay. Take your time.
The kind of like struggles, I guess, that we go through as a couple. Hi, Leah.
Our cat's here.
The emotional support kitty's here. So I will walk through the day from start to finish and tell you like all the things that went wrong and how they affected me deeply, to the point where like it's already really hard to like do a podcast about this, and I think that's why there's not a lot out there, because it's like, one, you're putting yourself on display, and not that, no offense, but not that I really care what people think of me, but it's more just that it's permanently out there for people to, one, maybe like use against me, or like, it's just kind of scary to have something recorded that's like out there permanently, I guess, because once you post it, you're not in control of where it goes, or how people manipulate it or anything like that. Anyway, I'm off topic. What were we talking about?
So we were talking about why we're here right now, and how we were going to talk about traveling today, and then how that went down the pipe, or not down the pipe, but that's not going to be the game plan today, and that you're going to talk about why you were feeling the way you were feeling.
Okay.
And you were going to run people through the day.
Okay, so starting with the beginning of the day, I woke up at 9 a.m. I'm not a morning person at all, but we are like going to visit my parents this afternoon, so we wanted to do it early in the morning. So I woke up at 9 a.m., actually 8:50. T brought me coffee in bed as usual, because that's the only way I get up in the morning. So that was all fine. My makeup artist came. She's a friend of mine, so she is super sweet, and we kind of collab with this podcast with her, because it's one of the things that makes me feel good, and I kind of need that extra boost of confidence in order to do this. So shout out to B Beauty Cosmetics. Thank you so much for making me be so beautiful, and as you can tell, even with crying, it's still on my face, hopefully. So yeah, she did a lovely job. My makeup was done and my hair was done. She did my hair, and then I just got this sudden urge of like putting up my hair, because it just like, it felt like too much on my back of my neck. Like, it was just like too much sensory. So I was upset that like I had to put my hair up because she had just done it and made it so pretty, and then like I just needed it off my neck. So that upset me. I came into the studio area, which is also our office, and the light was like, what the fuck? See, that's so annoying to me.
You talking about the light?
Hang on. No, I'm talking about my hair just doing its own thing. Anyway, so then the light was annoying to me because I couldn't figure out how it worked. And then one of my nails came off and I was like freaking irritated about that. So it was just like one thing after another, after another, after another. And there's such little things that I feel stupid about being upset about them, but they literally wreck my day. So that happened, and then we like go to film, and T was, on the couch, and he was like unwinding. He plays video games to unwind, but like he didn't set up the studio ahead of time, and he didn't realize that the camera's not here. And I was like, okay, like the camera's not here, so he had to drive a half hour. And like the thing is, it just wasn't on like my own time in my own head where I'm like, we're gonna do my makeup, we're gonna do the hair, we're gonna set up, and then we're gonna
record.
And it wasn't like that. So because it wasn't like that, and because it wasn't on the structured time, then I felt rushed because I'm going to be visiting my parents, so like we want to get this done beforehand, and now I feel like rushed, and I'm like, I don't like feeling rushed when it's a situation like this because what are the words I'm looking for?
You don't like to feel rushed because
I don't like feeling rushed because it makes it harder for me. One thing, I'm a slow processor, so being rushed is not a thing that I handle well. So that happened. He comes back from getting the camera, and he comes in the room, and I just smell this uncontrollable like garbage smell, and I've been smelling it for like 3 days straight, and I'm like, I don't know what this smell is, but it puts me instantly in a bad mood. Like, I can't handle it. And I'm like, I'm inspecting, and I'm like, it's definitely him. He stinks like really bad. Love you, but you did. And like the best way to describe it to me is like going to a garbage disposal and then like having that in this room, and I was like, oh no. And I wasn't very nice, and I was like, go shower, you stink, I can't handle being around you. So he did, and I went and inspected his truck and realized like it's his truck, and I don't know what the hell the smell is or where it's coming from because his truck is clean, but it's disgusting, and I just ugh. Anyway, so that threw me over the edge, and then all these lights are blinding, so it's just a lot. And I know it seems like something so small. I get that it's like, it seems ridiculous that this would be so upsetting to me, but it is.
That's good. Take a break there, right? That's good. Yeah. So like, again, for people that look at this from like a neurotypical standpoint, you forget your camera. All right. What do? Go get the camera, right? Come back, and I know that you've always been very sensitive to smells, and I know you were smelling whatever was on me. I think yesterday we were at your friend's house, and we were like unpacking from a party, and you actually got her to smell me, ironically, and she's like, yeah, you don't really have, like, you smell kind of like barbecue, I think is what she said. But it was super faint, like she couldn't really smell it, she wouldn't have noticed it. But again, it's because of how like sensitive like you are to like certain smells. It's just something that like as like a neurotypical person you just have to like understand, and you have to be really accommodating, and when things like these happen, like, yeah, you know what, go shower, no problem.
It was
it's
just
a lot
like
easier.
last night.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's a lot easier for me to shower than it is for me to like put my feet in, make a stink about being like, oh, I don't smell or anything like that, right? And again, I think it's like a prime example of why, sometimes these relationships can be really hard. It can be really hard with, if you don't know someone's neurodivergent, or, you feel, that, they're being like rude by saying that like you smell or anything like that. That's where a lot of miscommunication can happen. And from your perspective, like you're crying right now, like it's just because it's too much, like it's sensory overload. Yeah.
And I was gonna say, we kind of went off the topic now, but I was gonna say, like even last night before we had sex, like I was like, baby, you stay, go shower. So like it totally takes the person out of the mood and everything, because number one, like, is smell, I guess. You have to smell good always.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
But the other part is that I can't use certain smells either, because if I put on like cologne or anything, you have an allergic reaction almost to it.
Yeah.
So it's just a clean smell in general, but I have to be careful with my deodorants and other things, because of just how sensitive it can be.
Yeah. And like another thing that wasn't good either is like when I get like this, like I don't want clothes on me. I find everything like really restricting, like wearing bras, shit like that. Like I'm just, get it off me. And so like doing a podcast where you're braless, like that's not gonna work, or like being clothesless. So that was like another thing that like I guess pissed me off, or like, what is it called?
It just makes you agitated, I think, because I think one of the things that it happens is it's almost like a snowball effect, where you get upset, or you get, something like you're feeling like an overload about one thing, and then it stems into another thing. So it started off with like your hair, and then the smelling, and then like from there on, like if you don't deal with the regulation of emotion, then it can be really really challenging to get yourself out of that vibe until you basically go into like a spot where you can decompress. So what are some of the things that you do in order to kind of like get out of the feeling of being overstimulated?
Some of the things I do, one thing that has been like a godsend to me is noise canceling headphones. I didn't want to wear them because the stereotype of like wearing them, I remember the very first time, the stereotype of wearing them is that like only like handicapped people wear them. And I was embarrassed. Okay, I wouldn't say embarrassed, but I didn't want to be perceived as like handicapped. And like, I'm sorry for feeling that way, but I just like associated it with that. But then I put them on and I was like, it doesn't matter how I look. They work so well that like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to wear them anyway.
What were we doing at the time when we tried that out?
We were trying to clean the house. And
is that what we were doing? Okay.
Yeah, we can talk about that situation. Yeah, sure. So I had realized that I was taking things out on T and not in a good way. So like I didn't know I was autistic, so I was like not handling things well. And I remember he would like do the dishes or something, and something would be bothering me, but I wouldn't know what. And I would just like pick on something that he did and be like, this is what's bothering me, and like make it about that. And then I'd like blow up and I'd get like upset. And then it would all go away. I'd feel better after. Like I'd just like blow up at you. And when I say blow up, I mean just like literally just go off for like how long would you say?
You used to deal with it by like expressing like anger and all that. I think is probably the best way. You kind of use that as like your coping mechanism.
Yeah, and I'd just have the blow up, and then like I'd be better. I'd be instantly like, okay, I feel better now. This is great. But I realized that was unhealthy, and it's not his fault, and I can't take it out on the person that I'm with. That's not okay. And I'm not perfect. Like I still would say sometimes I do, like in the moment, it's like I can't help it. And I really, really try not to do that. And I really try to be self-aware. So anyway, in this instant, I was self-aware of it. And I was like, I felt myself getting like into that blow up, like temper tantrum kind of stage. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to calm myself down. And I went onto the couch. Oh, I remember how awful it felt because I couldn't calm down. There was literally nothing that I could do to calm myself. Like, T was sitting beside me and he was like just folding a piece of paper, and it sounded like the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I was just like, oh my God, get rid of this piece of paper. Like, I can't handle it. I seemed psycho, honestly. I did. And I didn't know what to do. He was touching me and he was like, calm down. I was like, get off me. Like, don't touch me. Leave me alone. And I'm like, he's like, just close your eyes. And I was like, and all the lights had to be off. We turned all the lights off. And I was like, I can't calm down. Like, I don't know how to calm myself without getting angry and exploding, basically. And then he works, like, he was telling me, like, just close your eyes, count to 10. And I was like, I can't focus on anything. I can't focus on counting to 10. I can't focus on
you were just so overstimulated you couldn't even think in your own head almost.
No, it was awful. It was the most I have ever been, I'd say, overstimulated. And the reason why is because I didn't do what I usually do, which is blow up and then feel better. So because I didn't do that, I didn't know how to cope with it. And actually, T came up with the suggestion because he suspected I was autistic. This was before I was diagnosed. And he was like, why don't you try my noise canceling headphones? And I was like, no, I don't. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look silly. And like, I don't want to look like that. And I'm ashamed that I thought that way. But like, when you don't know any better, right? Like, it's just how I thought.
So I kind of went in and I didn't know if I had my full noise canceling ones on, but I had my headphones that I use from my PlayStation, which are like the full over the ear ones, and they're pretty good at canceling out noise. So we put it on top of you, and
on top of me, you mean on my ears?
On your ears, yeah, not on top.
Yeah,
of you.
we put them on.
Put them over your ears, and it was almost instantaneous.
It was.
As soon as they went on, you were calm, and
I counted to 10. And then they weren't noise canceling. So what we did is we put a toque on my head and then we put them on, and it was like, I was fine. I was instantly better. And I was like, this is what I've been missing out on my whole life. Like, it was just so overwhelming because, this is so hard. It was just so overwhelming, though, because, like, I never knew that there was such a simple solution, and I wouldn't feel this way. My whole life, I had dealt with this in a not positive way. And there was just such a simple solution of just putting on noise-canceling headphones.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was instant. And not only that, when because then I was like, I felt like I was on top of the world. And so like I started cleaning, I started doing laundry, and I didn't need help. I didn't need to ask like for help, because sometimes I need help like getting started, or like sometimes I just need someone to be there with me while I do things. And it wasn't like that. He just went to bed and I like cleaned for like 3 hours.
Yeah, I think I fell asleep on the couch after that point. But yeah, you kind of got up and you started cleaning the whole house from top to bottom and didn't have any issues. You were quite happy just keeping those little things on your ears and going about your day. So
yeah,
it's we tell the story to just kind of like paint the picture of how these things kind of start, where they go to, what causes them. And it's difficult. I mean, that a lot of people don't, necessarily, talk about these things openly. So, I hope that this kind of gave you guys, again, a little insight into, what it can be like.
Again, if you have like any questions or like comments, or if you have anything that you want to see, like we'll try. I mean, this was not planned at all. This
one's off the cuff today. We're gonna do definitely some more planned ones, and we do want to do the traveling one, because that one we got some funny stories and all that when it comes to our traveling experiences. But I think we'll wrap it there for now. Just, I mean, you're pretty overstimulated right now, and I think people understand.
It's actually funny because like I almost feel better like now that I've talked about it, and I cried. So like processing really helps. But yeah, like write in the comments, if you're autistic, like what kind of things you do to cope. But this has been really helpful for me, and hopefully it'll help someone else.
Excellent. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys later.
That's not our outro.
I'm not doing the outro. Okay,
we
do
have
it.
to do the outro.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1.
T&Kay out.